Okay, greetings and welcome to my first Sunday night live stream for quite a while actually. They ground to a halt back in November when I had an issue with my ears and I couldn't do a very long live stream, so I started doing the Bobby Zed show, which were 13-minute long streams. And yeah, that's been the last lot of live streams that I've done recently. Thanks to anyone who's tuned in to them, by the way, and anyone who leaves any comments on them, the videos. I have been looking at, I've just had a few goings on lately with one thing and another. We've had a bereavement a week before Christmas, and then that threw me out. So if I haven't replied to any comments, I do apologise. I do read them, that is a promise, and I do appreciate everyone that takes the time to comment on any of my videos on this channel or the other one. And if I've not got round to them recently, then yeah, my apologies, but I will soon. Tonight's tonight's stream, the biggest lies of 2022. I invite anyone out there that is that could name what they think is the biggest lie of the year. By the end of the hour, if we go on for an hour, we will decide. We'll see if we can crown the biggest lie of 2022. If anyone's tuned in the pre-show, we had a look at my analytics for the last year, what video you guys had been watching, the videos I'd done in the last year, and I think a couple came up. One at Buffalo. Do you remember back in, I think it was March, Buffalo shooting, and then we had The Boy in the Machine, which was Archie. Of course, there was also, what was that woman's name? I made tons of videos on her. Dame Deborah James, complete fabricated illness in my book, and again a massive whopper that we were force-fed by mainstream media. Right, I want to thank a couple of people, well mainly anyone that takes the time to tune in tonight. And if you want to figure out how, and if you want a way to support this channel, I would invite anyone that wants to hit the thumbs up button. Yeah, please do so. Subscribe if you're not already, and share on social media. If you think this video is in any way good enough to have any of them done, please do. That does in some small way help support me. There is another way you can support this channel, by finding me over on patreon.com/bzines. Just a way if you want to support the channel and let me know you like what I'm doing and want me to keep doing it. I would like to thank Linda Mack, who supports me over there. It just means that they get to watch they get to see a few things that I don't put out on YouTube, like a tribute to to the recent family member that passed on. I was thinking of putting a picture up on screen of him tonight, but maybe I'll save that for Patreon. Yeah. Right, moving on with tonight's topic. So, of course, New Year's Day. Personally, I know it's kind of frowned upon if you don't go out and get yourself absolutely hammered on New Year's Eve and start the new year with a hangover. Then, if you're seen, if that makes you antisocial, then yeah, I'll be antisocial. I'm not gonna wake up with a whopping headache. Particularly, because whenever I go out and do that sort of thing, I used to do it as a kid, but yeah, I just can't. I don't like the headaches, not worth the time. But as we'll see tonight, it was suggested. I was thinking of doing a search for each month, go to January and see what was the big news in January, February, and I won't actually do that tonight, but in the search for doing that, I did a search and came across what happened in 2022. And one story I came across, they seem to, let me just share my screen.
Let's see.
It seems to be highly encouraged to, hang on, let me just turn my audio down a little bit, the music. In fact, I will just take this opportunity to check my audio. Bear with me 1 second, please. Seems to be playing all right. Any feedback, if we get any problems, if I mute myself for a long time, yeah, please just leave a comment, let me know, that would be appreciated. Or if the music in the background is playing too loud, or if I forget to turn the screen on or something, yeah, a comment is always appreciated. And I am also inviting, as I said, you guys to let me know what you think the biggest whoppers of 2022 were. Okay, we will look at the 10 good moments from January 2022. That's it. Maybe I was looking per month. I think I must have done a search just to see what comes up when you put January 2022. And one of the suggestions, I'll just zoom in on this page so you can see it a bit better. Actually, would it be... No, okay. Yeah, what does this... Hang on, I'm just going to bring the display into reading mode if possible. So you can see this. This was apparently the big wins for January 2022, or the great things that happened. The Skim. Never heard of this this publication. My first thought when I read it was that maybe it was like a gay-friendly magazine. Yeah, gay-friendly. I heard that on Peep Show, to be honest. I think that was the first place I heard someone use the term gay-friendly. Anyway, it made me wonder if this was a publication for that community. When you start seeing what they consider were massive events for January 22, they're not, though. Oh, that was a mistake. Probably would have been better off. Hang on. No, we'll just stick with this view. Right, we welcome 2022 with open arms. This year has already thrown us a loop. It started off with record bullspit 19 hospitalisations, deadly fires, anti-Semitic hostage situation, and the heightened tensions between Russia and Ukraine. Anti-Semitic hostage situation. Again, these are probably perfect examples of whoppers that we were fed. But when they start talking about what the positive things that happened in January 2022, let's have a look. To give us all a breather, we'll be rounding up on some good news every month. So let's all inhale the good, exhale the bad, and check out these heartwarming stories from January. Big wins for women. What would you think they mean by big wins for women? Let's see. The first picture we're getting. I thought it said women. What on earth is that? That's not a woman. And would you believe it? No, it's not actually. This isn't someone they're trying to present to us as a woman. Big wins for women, remember, they're saying. The woman shattering records on Jeopardy. Who is Amy Schneider? Again, this is more of their crap they force feed us. Not only is she the first transgender contestant, I doubt that very much, but she recently broke 2 records for the long-running game show. Schneider is the first woman to win $1 million, and she is the second longest winning streak in the show's history, with 39 consecutive victories. Are even game shows completely... Oh, hang on, get their numbers in. The news comes weeks after she shattered James Haushauer's third-place record of 32 games. It still feels unreal. Yeah, typical they would happen to use that to, yeah, so a big win for women. Well, except it wasn't really a woman. It's just a man that they made look like a woman. Or is it? Who knows? Who actually knows? Another one. This is another big win for women. What do you think? Another transgender story? Actually, no, it should be if you look at that neck. Again, you can see this person's had a lot of treatment done to their face to make their jaw look smaller. What a nasty operation that is. Rachel Balkovec's home run as the first female minor league manager. So she's a manager, but apparently no. Despite that Adam's apple, this actually isn't a story where they're talking about a transgender. She was previously the first female hitting coach for the Yankees. backed her up. What's the next story? Do you see why I was thinking, is this a gay-friendly publication? It's not, though, by all accounts. Well, right. The next big thing. Oh, okay. MJ Rodriguez becomes the first trans actress to win the Golden Globe on January the 9th. Interesting how all their big happy events for January 2022 involves a transgender of some sort. I don't know who this person is, but Zara Rutherford is the youngest woman to fly around the world. Yeah, as if. Okay. Yeah, and then I think they move on. Yeah, as I said, I didn't go out and get smashed for New Year's, but sad enough to say I watched the BBC countdown to the start of the 2023, and they must have made so many points about that same subject, about 50 years of gay pride. Okay, I did a search for the word pride, but the only one we got was videos of the Prime Minister. Yeah, I don't know if any of you saw it, but at the end they must have done at least like 5 minutes of the fireworks just involved them talking about how great it was to have had 50 years of gay pride. What an achievement. And then at the end of it, people gathered on, this is in Paris. And of course they mention Russia's president, Vladimir Putin. Again, is that another whopper? I mean, not to say bombs aren't being dropped over in Russia, but do you really think that story is remotely on the level? And what are they looking forward to in 2023? I'm not sure who this is, actually. Our post-bullspit, COVID, post-pandemic UK will finally start to take advantage of all our freedoms, like being allowed to go into a shop without a mask. That's considered a new freedom. No, not at all. Being allowed to go into a hospital without a mask. No, that is no longer allowed. In fact, new freedoms, okay? Lengthening our lead is the best place on earth to invest, to start a business, raise a family, or just hang out in the pub, which is what I propose to do this year. That is, I think is this what the Prime Minister is recommending everyone do? Go to the pub, get as drunk as possible, weaken yourself, and start the year with a headache. For as long as they're keeping you in that state, then you're certainly a lot more likely to digest half the rubbish that they share with us each year. It stops you, in my opinion, a hangover stops you being able to think and process things, meaning you will stand out in queues like this if it means you might get a shot on TV. Talking about queuing up for hours, apparently, do you remember the Queen's death where they were telling us celebrities were queuing up for hours? Wasn't it David Beckham? Actually, speaking of David Beckham, again, just by chance I came across a story. I did want to actually just quickly play the video of the firework display just to see if it shows. Do they show it on here? I'm sure there's a video. Hang on. Bear with us. Let's see if we can find it. Yeah, this must be it. Oh, that's Sydney, Australia. Oh, I wonder if Sydney, Australia mentioned anything about Pride or how many wonderful. Maybe they didn't. I know it came up in the UK one. But this is a video of Australia, so look at all that ridiculous amounts of money they must spend on these firework displays. And yeah, there's always money for these firework displays. They always find the time to do that. What a joke. Right, yeah, David Beckham, remember that story that he queued up outside the, queued up waiting to go in and see the Queen's body. Greetings to Phil Wright, Happy New Year, thanks ever so much. I've got to say, oh yeah, David Beckham, yeah, thanks Phil Wright, you too, I hope you're keeping well. David Beckham's missing from the New Year's honours list as emails show fury at previous snub. Assuming David Beckham isn't a... Alright. Assuming he is a legitimate person and isn't just played by a series of actors, then imagine the arrogance to believe that you have a right to be on these lists. Right, and maybe that's what they want, how they want us thinking about this guy. David Beckham is missing from the King's New Year's honours list, meaning he won't get a knighthood anytime soon, and he's furious about that. It's the second time the legendary footballer has been snubbed from the list, after he blasted organisers back in 2017 in some damning leaked emails. Dad of 4, have you seen the mother to his 4 kids? I doubt very much she's ever given birth to a child, but hey-ho. Dad of 4, David, is one of the country's most famous footballers, having been the star of Man United and captain in England for 6 years. He's also enjoyed a career in Spain and is known to be pals with Prince William and Harry. That says quite a lot about this person, having attended both their weddings and wife Victoria Beckham. Yeah, and they don't forget to remind us, despite still not receiving a knighthood, he was awarded an at least he got an OBE, hey, in the Queen's Birthdays Honours list, but he will have to wait to see if he is listed as the King's heir. David showed his loyalty to the royal family when he stood in queue for 13 hours. Well, he was there for at least the time the cameras were there. Or at least someone looking like David Beckham was there, to see the late Queen lying in state in Westminster Abbey. Yeah, there are whole agencies that hire people, that pay people to go out and stand around for 13 hours in Westminster Abbey. Personally, I doubt David Beckham was the guy who ran out on the football pitch. Who knows? Is it all just, look at that ring, nasty spit. Yeah, this is the one who's given birth to 4 of his children. Okay, interesting jaw there, Victoria. The 2017 emails were leaked, which allegedly showed a furious David slamming the honours committee. Yeah, because it's not actually the king or queen's list, is it? It's a committee that decides these people. Oh, he called them unappreciative CUNTSs and insisted that he didn't care about being knighted. David allegedly wrote, I thought they leaked the emails. Surely we know whether he wrote it or not. I expected nothing less. It's a disgrace to be honest, and if I was American, I would have got something like this 10 years ago. David later claimed that the emails were fake and had been doctored. Yeah, a lot about these people are fake and doctored. Look at that shoulder to head. I mean, actually, just look at these people full stop. Particularly in this picture, the one that stands out like a sore thumb is supposedly, yeah, this one. Look at the size of those hands and unusual shaped jaw, just like Victoria. Right, so we got a close-up of Kate Middleton. Yeah, these tattoos, again, they look like identifiers. Well, how do you identify a person? Well, if they've got loads of tattoos on their face, then that's a pretty big one. If they've got a beard that anyone could be stood there greeting these people. Yeah, look at that shoulder to head ratio. That is a flat pair of shoulders. And very out of proportion head as well. But whatever. When you look at other royal families around the world, you see that isn't uncommon actually. Right, just letting my computer catch up a minute. So yeah, David's fuming. He didn't make it. He didn't get to be knighted. The honours are flooded in for English Lionesses who won the Euros earlier this year. Great. Do you remember David Beckham? After one tournament, he was absolutely hated because he kicked out at a player. I bet that was all part of the script. Right. Yeah, I made a video about what a joke the Queen's... Well, it's obviously now it's the King's honours are, but when you look at some of the people that have received these awards in the past, yeah, what a joke. Who would want to be part of that club? I mean, I know there's a difference between knighthoods and MBs or OBs, whatever. But, yeah, you're still showing your association with these people, the Harry and Meghans, the people that pose with fake babies. Very still babies that don't make a sound. Harry and Meghan praise brave Greta Thunberg as she opens up on overcoming depression. What a surprise. Again, all of these people are absolute freak shows, particularly Greta Thunberg, if you've ever seen her. Apparently this story comes out not long ago. We watched I think it was a trailer for a Netflix series. Well, apparently they've got another one out now. The series, inspired by Nelson Mandela. Oh, gonna have to probably watch a crappy ad for a minute, so I'll try and skip past that. Yeah, they're back with a new series, another Netflix series. Obviously, Netflix must have bought the image rights for for Harry and Meghan. So, yeah, getting their money's worth. They're using their rights. I mean, look at that. Come on, get real. Greta Thunberg. I'm sure she's all that meets the eye. Hey. Opening up. Harry stated that Greta Thunberg is Swedish. Oh, right, we all know this. A Swedish climate activist who reignited an international movement to fight climate change when she began demonstrating outside the Swedish Parliament in 2018. Of course, when we're looking at the year's biggest lies, you can't rule out those that are constantly being played out. Some of them do take a back seat for a while, though. But the Royal Freak Show will make sure that you don't forget her for too long, and that being a activist for climate change, another one of their massive whoppers, will make sure that you're never too far from the mainstream media. What was the lowest depth of misery? When you're too depressed to see that you yourself actually matter. The climate activist admitted that she had experienced this feeling. Do you think there's a request for money coming up? We're talking about mental health. Is this going to be something to do with Harry being a patron of some mental health charity? Let's see. Do they mention that? It usually comes up in these stories. It's happened gradually, but thanks to climate and ecological... Oh, right. She's got her mental health back due to the climate and ecological crisis. Okay, got it. because that's really something that's going to cheer you up. It is something that will very slowly and very gradually wear you down. If you keep hearing it, they force it into your head. I mean, no doubt, even if you see it for the absolute crap it is, it still drips into your head and will depress you, and it gets you down. Watching the news, watching any of this rubbish, ultimately will get you the heck down. So I think the thing that got me depressed in the first way was also the thing that got me out of that depression. So it was the idea that the climate is getting too hot or too cold or too windy or too snowy or whatever's supposedly happening. Actually, real world examples. Just go out in the spring. Is it spring? Is the weather how it should be in your part of the world? And of course, when you're the age of Greta, you barely remember what the weather was like, 20 years ago. They have no idea whether the climate's actually changing. They're just feeding off the crap as it was. The Netflix series focuses on several inspirational leaders reflecting on their motives in pursuit for justice. I bet they all look a bit odd. Introducing each episode, Harry said this was inspired by Nelson Mandela, who once said, "What counts in life is not the mere fact we have lived, it is the difference we have made to the lives of others that will determine the significance of the life we lead." Okay. These people telling you this, next time there's a flu outbreak, will tell you, by the way, probably safe you keep away from your family members. The people that really do matter to you, we'll try and keep you apart as much as possible by telling you that your chances are you're probably carrying a bug. And if you don't believe us, stick this probe up your nose. In fact, stick the probe up your nose anyway, whether you believe us or not. Or at least pretend you do. Or at least, that's the only difference these people make to others. While they may, on the one hand, come out as if they give two stuffs about other people, you realise that, like, their close family are probably, if they are legit people, are supposed to be special envoys trying to sell the arms that the country produce. I don't know. They're all about military, of course, which is probably a very good way of making misery. Forcing people to move out of their homes because they want to bomb the crap out of a place in order to spend a ton of public money that they probably, a ton of debt, create a ton of debt for a country by rebuilding it. A legacy that has helped inspire so many others stand up. Fight for it. So they've got another crappy Netflix documentary out. As I'm guessing Netflix they must own all the rights to show all these pictures now. Probably comes as part of a package, right? Were we going to watch the trailer? I'm not sure. Oh, hang on. Just starting. Is this the trailer? No, it isn't. Prince Harry and the Duchess. Oh, we've lost it, I'm afraid. Greetings to A.J.R. Wild. Fake Nelson Mandela died in prison. Mandela, another puppet. Absolutely agree, Phil. I've got to say, do you... Oh, Phil says Nelson never spent a second in prison. I wouldn't doubt it. No more than, say, O.J. Simpson or Bill Cosby. Never probably spent a second in an actual prison. Mike Tyson. Do you think that was another heap of crap they served us? Doesn't Megan in this video... Hang on, I'm trying to get that crappy advert out of the way, but I don't think you can. I think you have to play it. Right, doesn't she look like a CGI doll in that? I mean, computer-generated face. Oh, hang on. Try and keep it still. See what I mean? Not necessarily there, but... Wow, is that supposed to be a pregnant woman? Oh, see, you can't pause these videos without them putting their rubbish suggested clicks on. So I'm just going to have to keep playing it. I want to bring it up a bit. It's nice to be able to trust someone with our story, even if it means that it may not be the way we would have told it. Not the way it actually happened. Journalists and royal experts claim to have heard all about Meghan and Harry's feelings on the Netflix series. Okay. Yeah, Netflix presenting us a news story that Meghan and Harry have have made a documentary. Again, is that just another whopper? Is it just people turning up that look very much like these people, and voices are applied maybe in After Effects along with anything else they might need to edit into the videos or edit out? But yeah, apparently brave Greta's been told she's been praised by the Beckhams. Right, so my suggestion, biggest pile of crap we were told in 2022. Couple of, as I said, looking at the videos that I've put out and what got where on my top 10, you have to watch the pre-show for that little bit about the analytics. Two things came up. One was the buffalo. I'm probably not spelling buffalo correctly. Well, I'm certainly not spelling it correctly. Hang on. Buffalo. But here we go. This was back in March, I think, where the guy came out wrapped up in toilet paper. Right, goodness me, my computer's being a bit weird. May 14th, 2022, a mass shooting occurred in Buffalo, New York. Topps, as I said, Topps seemed to sponsor that particular event that took place. Topps Friendly Market Stores, a supermarket in Kingsley neighborhood. 10 people were killed, all of whom were black. 3 others were injured. The shooter live streamed the attack on Twitch. Yeah, right. Didn't we have attacks live streamed on Facebook as well or something? Let's see. Yeah, any telltale signs? I'm sure there was. Oh, he must have appeared in court more than once, because in one of the images he's all wrapped up in tissue or something. It's before he's in the yeah, here we go. Hang on, I don't know if it's like a ripped gown or something they've got him wearing. Looks bloody weird, I can tell you that. Mass shooting suspect. Yeah, so that was one of my suggestions for the biggest whoppers of 2022. Let's see. RJ Wild is saying the death of the Queen was the biggest lie. Yeah, that's got to be up there, hasn't it? That absolutely overtook. I'm not sure what it's like in other parts of the world, but in this country, I mean, did they have a bank holiday? I can't remember. I know they did for the Jubilee. They shut everything for like 2 days. They had 2 bank holidays to celebrate the Jubilee. I'm guessing, I know a few things shut down over that year. Right. Yeah, there was some, I tell you, over on 153 News, people put out some absolutely, really good videos about these shootings. They really break them down. Obviously, YouTube, you're not going to see any of them. But yeah, what's actually going on here has nothing to do with it, is it? Oh, that was another one. Or was it? Huh. Okay, the Queen's, yeah, of course, the Queen's definitely was a candidate for the biggest load of crap of 2022. It dominated everything here in the UK. That story is now told, of course. And if when you consider like how controlled any piece of information about these people are, then yeah, you have. It wouldn't surprise me in the least for them to have they could make it look like the Queen was talking on a speech, for example. By the way, did Prince Charles get? I'm guessing Charles still does the speeches. Who knows what rubbish he would have come out with. Yeah, there's the Queen in her orange. I know apparently there was stuff about as her funeral was... as the hearse was driven down past some area, wherever it was in London, that you could see like rainbows and beams of light were coming down. Phil Wright says, remember that taxi driver in the UK? He was called Bird, apparently killed a load of people years ago. Was that a 2022 one? Or... we'll have a look at that one as well. A taxi... Of course, there was something where a taxi driver drove a... like a crazy person. I'm not sure if that was in... it was Liverpool Hospital. I'm not sure if that was 2021 or maybe it was the start of 2022. Again, I'm not sure if that's the one I'm sure that isn't the one you're referring to. But... oh, it's an old one, is it, Phil? No problem. Well, we could still have a look at it. I'm sure it would. But... yeah, I'm not sure about the taxi one. I know there were some stories local to me about... I think it was a taxi driver. Oh, I can't remember what he did now, but... maybe it was yeah. I'm not actually that familiar, but we could have a look. Yeah, Queen's death was definitely a big one. Death and state funeral of Elizabeth II. When it gets its own Wikipedia page, you can kind of yeah, you can imagine that it's the usual trash. Oh, this is where people were... is this where people were coming out to see were queuing up for hours, or... because I see you don't actually see it, you just see a load of things draped over. Right, another one that came up in the analytics of my top 10 videos of 2022 was The Boy in the Machine. That was Archie. Again, this is a horrible story that... and again, this might be something which in the United Kingdom was big news, but in another part of the world, no one knows anything about this. The Sun newspaper. What happened to Archie Battersby? Completely off. Like, whatever they tell us happened isn't in line with when you look at like the transcripts of the court cases that took place. Then yeah, this was a horrible one. This was a massive lie that they told us. April the 7th, 2022. Archie Battersby, he had a freak accident after... well, will they mention TikTok? Does that get a bit of promotion? Maybe it won't get it in this particular article. We'll see. Let's have a look. Doctors are saying negative stuff. He's not responding, but we do hope. Let's see if they mention it. Well, GoFundMe gets a plug. A GoFundMe page was set up by Archie's sister-in-law to support the family with medical costs, and it's raised over 34 grand. That's not a huge amount compared to a lot of the hoaxes we get, but as I said, I suggested 2021. If you're just looking financially at how much money the hoaxes all raised, 2021 we had Oh, Ashley Kane and his story about his baby that had, like, I can't remember what it was, some horrible cancer. They put everything on Instagram, of course. Nothing was too sacred that it didn't get a shot on Instagram. They told us everything on there. They didn't keep anything to himself. Right, sorry, what's this one? This is the Archie story. Can't see it that closely. Yeah, this is another suggestion of mine for what could come up. Again, you got things like the World Cup. I mean, if that was fixed, then what a joke that is. That's a huge whopper that people all around the world would have been taken in by. Yeah, I didn't watch it, to be fair. I didn't actually watch a single game of the World Cup because I just can't watch these games anymore and not think they're all completely fixed. Like, supposedly the best strikers in the world, they're barely tackling each other. They're just very stale games. And then at a very specific point in the match, shirts number 22, 11 and 9 all line up and they score a goal. It's just a bit suspect for me. Of course, going back to Archie Battersby, it was a story that went to High Court and means, that basically, does that mean a precedent has been now set in court for any situation where a child is on, or anyone is on life support, and a family say they want to challenge, a genuine family want to challenge the, a hospital's decision to switch off a life support or something along those lines, and they say, well, remember what happened in the Archie case, it's not even worth taking it to court. It's just things that, for one thing, absolutely vile, disgusting, miserable story that will depress the heck out of anyone that hears them. Remember what I said, they drip feed it into you, or they drop it in so gradually that you don't even feel it crushing you, destroying your... Imagine taking this stuff seriously, how depressed it would leave you feeling. Again, as I said, with Ashley Kane and his that story again. Buffalo, we looked at the Buffalo story. Hang on, that was something else. And again, all these attacks and anti-Semitic troops cited by the Texas synagogue hostage taker have deep roots. Again, the same picture of a police car parked up with 911 written on it. I do believe when they show you these types of images and they put them in the press, here's a story about get their numbers in, 44-year-old British citizens he broadcast the tight-knit congregation to his hostages and those who heard him on the live stream of the Saturday service because he saw it as the closest gathering of Jewish people to a federal facility in Fort Worth, where a convicted terrorist was being held. Another absolute whopper. But, who knows? I was not going to let him assassinate us. How Texas synagogue hostages use security training to flee. Yeah, there's another one. Chunky Buster, greetings, good to see you in the live chat. Let me see. Phil says, hang on. Chunky says, what about the fake photo with Liz Truss? Is that the... Yeah, definitely, with the Queen. Hang on, we'll have a look at that. Right, perhaps we'll make a bit of a list at some point. Maybe I should make a list somewhere, because I will probably end up forgetting. Let me see. I'll just write some of these down. So far, the nominations for tonight for the biggest lies of 2022 are... We've got... what did we start with? The Queen, death, We had Buffalo shooting. We had Archie Battersby. And let me see. Phil says the Queen's death was just a big satanic ritual. I wouldn't be in the least bit surprised. Yeah, having all those people queuing up around the coffin, around her coffin, and walking through. Yeah, I wouldn't. RJ Wild says they think she died in October or November 21. Yeah, maybe it's for. Yeah, they can tell us any date they want, to be honest. Why Archie's... Okay. What other things did we have? Of course, I made a load of videos on... Oh, hang on, I don't want to miss any. Phil Wright says, the illusion breaks down the scripted Satanic World Cup. Yes, I have seen he's put some videos up, actually, about that one, about the World Cup. Yeah, definitely that's another nominee for Bullcrap of the Year, particularly as it involves so many other countries. Also, the thing about, didn't it give them a lot of opportunity to talk about women's rights or something in Kuwait? Not Kuwait, Qatar. Right, who was the other one? Dame Deborah James. Oh no! To be honest, maybe I won't suggest. Maybe I won't crown the biggest lie. This is just Dame Deb James. We'll see. Right. Yeah, there was that anti-Semitic hostage thing, although, to be honest, I hadn't heard of it, so I'm not going to include that one. Right, Dame Deborah James. Here was another whopper of a story. Let's see. Was there any big babies being born? Because a lot of the... Yeah, I suppose a pregnancy, there's so many of them that take place and get complete coverage over on Instagram and TikTok and Twitter. They are very they're 10 a penny, I guess you could say. Dame Deborah James. Again, we're talking about, how do you rate the biggest lies of the year? Well, if you're talking about money, this one involved massive fundraising, huge donations, if you believe that many people really donated. I expect they'll mention how much money she raised at some point. Hang on, I'm just scanning through it. Yeah, here we go. My body just can't... Right. Oops, what happened there? The page just reloaded, I think. It said 7 million quid. Sorry, 7 million pounds. Remember we mentioned Ashley Kane, £1.5 million that one raised, although probably countless more for charities. Well, actually, yeah, this one they're saying raised 7 million. She was only aiming for $250,000. Yeah, the Archie Battersby one, apparently they set up a GoFundMe page and it reached £34,000. So if we're doing it just by cash, then although that may have increased now, the Archie Battersby one is a little way down. Yeah, they rolled everyone in on this bullspit story, or at least they bought his image rights, meaning that they bought the right to use Prince William in this story. Look at that weird Adam's apple. It looks like it's just been stuck on over the top. I'm going to try and get a close-up on that one. Just an example of how fake these people look. how fake some of these images look. Alright, I'll just do the neck. And it looks like an Adam's apple's been stuck on top of or something. Something very weird, that's for sure. Again, these stories are... Some of these stories, again, remember, dripping it into your head. The depression, the misery, people dying of cancer. Yeah. And what's the betting that diagnoses went up after this person? Of course, every diagnosis means another customer to the NHS. Right, here's Prince William's neck. I don't know if you can see, maybe it's not that obvious there, but it looks like a white piece just stuck on top of his, his neck. Certainly doesn't look real. Strangest looking Adam's apple I've ever seen, I can tell you that. Right, so we're going to get back. Let's see. Anyone? Chunky asks, has anyone seen Meghan's Archie? Right. Yeah, I'm sure it appeared in some of the in that Netflix documentary. I think Netflix own all the rights to showing these people at the moment. Yeah, I did have a few minutes of that documentary downloaded. Well, the file didn't download properly, but okay, Dame Deborah James is another candidate for the biggest whopper of the year. Let's see. And Chunky says she looked ever so well right up to the end. Yeah, if you're talking about that person we just looked at. Okay, yeah, we might take a quick intermission, actually, if I'm going to carry on. Of course, as I said, we're looking... It's difficult, really, to gauge when you look at what was the biggest lie of 2022, because you've got some things that are going to span many years, like the climate bullspit, Greta Thunberg, and all that rubbish. I mean, yeah... Someone went out there dressed as Greta Thunberg and revved up the crowd, but as I said earlier, there are whole there are agencies that dedicated to providing lookalikes and doubles. So yeah, just seeing these people isn't enough, because yeah, they can right, what happened in 2022? Did I do that search? I must have done. Most notable things. Looking for a few other suggestions. Oh yeah, was it the year before that the women won the European Cup or something? Yeah, that was blatantly staged. I find it interesting that it was suddenly, women's football was suddenly forced on people. And even soaps got behind the idea that, oh yeah, we all really care that women's... Well, just as much as trying to tell us we care that the men won the football, did well in the World Cup. Many people will buy it, not me. It is, fortunately there are a lot of people out there that call some of these high-profile sports out as satanic rituals. You mentioned the illusion. Mentioned by Phil Wright. Yeah, the guy does put out some good ones. Yeah, Chunky Buster, the Ukraine war, exactly. That's another one for the year, and actually, that is the subject of the video we're gonna watch on the intermission. It was one I put out not that long ago, actually. Hang on. Yeah, I'm going to take a quick 5-minute or so. I think the video does go on for about 5 minutes. Let's see. Oh, right, hang on. Where are we? Yeah, I will be... Let's see. How long does our
video go on for? I can tell you it is 5 minutes 14. Yeah, that'll give me a chance to go into the, a bathroom break, as it were, refill my drink, and then we'll be back with the second half of the live stream, where if anyone's got any other suggestions for Biggest Live 2022, please leave it in the live chat. I would like to thank AJR Wild, Chunky Buster, Phil Wright, for taking the time to leave comments in the chat. It is really appreciated. If anyone else out there wants to do likewise, always good. And apologies if I missed anyone. Okay, I'll be back in. This is a video I made. Let me see. When did I make it? October 2022, about a explosion in Russia. Okay, thanks for taking the time to tune in so far, and I hope you'll hang around for the second half of the stream. Are we going to crown the biggest lie of the year, or are we just going to leave the suggestions out there for you to use your discretion? I don't know. I'll be back in 5 minutes. Thanks, guys. See you in a minute. The Crimea Bridge, that's a huge one. My geography is not good enough to know the importance of this particular bridge. I guess people will be using a lot more boats. Someone will be paid huge amounts of money to repair this bridge now. Stroke of luck that they managed to get the explosion on camera, of course. Putin blames the Ukraine for explosion and calls it an act of terrorism. Nah, you just want to rebuild it, don't you? Smoke billowing from a fire on the Kerch Bridge, which links the Crimea to Russia, after a truck exploded. Would a truck exploding really cause an entire bridge to burn down like that? What exactly was on that truck? And that is some extreme demolition. An exploding truck caused this whole bit here to go. This was caused by a truck exploding? Nah. I'm having difficulty swallowing that one. It is believed to have exploded on the 12-mile-long Kerch Bridge on Saturday, October the 10th. Let's just have a look at what they're saying a truck did. Not a frickin' chance. This entire floor here is gone. Just gone. Just been wiped out, like sliced down the middle, causing this entire road. Now, personally, I've never been on the Crimea Bridge. I can only assume that this is what it looks like. If I trust the mainstream, then this is the Crimea Bridge. Personally, I've never seen it. Is there maybe a train line that runs alongside it? But how did that catch fire? How did a truck blowing up here cause a train over here? Ugh, weird. Maybe we should look at Google Maps or something. Who needs Google Maps when we've got the MSN.com, Euronews, even that. Oh, right, it's slightly better. Yeah, it's got nothing to do with a truck exploding. That's a high level of damage. His comments come ahead of him discussing how Russia will retaliate. Let's hope the public are able to say, no, this is rubbish. Not going to believe this crap. Not going to go along with mainstream when they tell us we're at war with Russia. No, you can have a war if you want. Don't think I'm going to have one. He had opened a criminal case into the act of terrorism by the Ukraine Special Services, and other countries took part in the attack, which severed the Kremlin's key link to occupied Ukraine. It looks very Call of Duty to me. I'm just curious how close to reality those images are. We'll get the as they call it, satellite view up. Kerch, that was it. Can we drop the person on it? Whatever happened to this bridge? Yeah, it looks similar. It looks like the same bridge. Obviously, they were on a lower floor. Something out of James Bond, those images look like. So they've got video of it happening, I think. Something exploding. I want to see whatever video they've got of it. Surveillance footage captures large explosion. Let's see if this is all it's cracked up to be. Bear in mind what programs like James Bond, for example, can give us. Very realistic looking explosions.
3 people were killed in today's massive explosion of the only bridge connecting Russia with the annexed territory of Crimea. Now, the blast partially collapsed the Kerch Bridge and paralyzed a key supply route for Moscow's faltering war in Ukraine.
Look, this bridge isn't just logistically important, it's also a huge symbol for the Kremlin, and it's...
Whatever caused that was something massive, nothing to do with a truck exploding. Surely they don't want us to believe a truck explodes and does that. Is that seriously the lie? There is their obelisk, their phallic symbol, their show of allegiance, the obelisk. It's massive, it means everything to these people. It's their sun god Ra. Ra, sorry, not Rar. Ra.
Partially collapsed the Kerch Bridge and paralyzed a key supply route for Moscow's faltering war in Ukraine.
Look, this bridge isn't just logistically important, it's also a huge symbol for the Kremlin and its attempt to reunify Crimea with the Russian mainland. Ukraine has not claimed responsibility for this, but hours after the blast in Kyiv, people could be seen taking selfies in front of a billboard depicting an image of the bridge.
Wow, so someone already had a painting of this bridge blowing up, ready for the next day where they were able to take selfies next to it.
Form of sort of celebrating or mocking this explosion. Fred Pleiken joins us now. Fred.
Want to listen to these people, check out CNN, but not going to hear it from my channel. That is going to be where we finish for the night.
Okay, that was my video, How Did a Truck Explosion Do That? That I put out in October 2022. Yeah, did the Russian conflict start in 2022 or was it prior to that? I mean, either way, it's still a big part of it. Greetings to AAA Murarura, who says, are they going to retire Putin's character? The MSN keep claiming that he is surviving only due to pharmaceutical drugs. Possibly. I suppose he's become a bit of a villain now. I mean, where could he actually go next? When you think of, like, Saddam Hussein, for example, how, yeah, they had to kill him off. Who was, not Ahmadinejad, that was the head of Iran. I mean, back when I believed this crap, I would say, oh yeah, well done, Ahmadinejad. You know, he's standing up to the Americans. He never took any of their crap. But what happened when he passed away? Again, this isn't 2022. This goes a lot further back. It's just an example of, like, the bad guy, as it were. Wow, did I have audio playing for all that? Sorry. Just checking my audio's working all right. Bear with me. Yeah, we seem to be playing all right. Yes, let me bring up, let me share my screen and I'll find a picture of Ahmadinejad, his statue. Iran president. I wouldn't know how to spell his name, so I'm not even going to try. Let's see. I'm sure it was Ahmadinejad. And yeah, oh, I'll just share my screen. Bear with me a second. Let's see. Wrong one. There we go. Right, I believe it must be this statue here. Iran. Revenge for Qasem. No, that's not the one. Oh, it was someone doing the diamond hand signal. I thought it was Ahmadinejad, but let's see. I guess these people are all doing some form of... they're holding the waistcoat. I'm not sure who that's a picture of, to be honest. But yeah, they always... If they can be bothered to make the arms, then they'll always include some... often appropriate poses. Right. Let's just see. Yeah, so I would say Putin. Actually, let's have a look at Putin. Okay, he looks like he's got a plastic face. We'll see if we can... He looks kind of like a waxwork to me. I mean, look at this one.
All that crap on his face. What is that? Right, view image. We'll try and get a close up. I mean, okay, it's not impossible that they're gonna. Hang on, is that gonna work? They're gonna put makeup on these people, but just look how much makeup they've put on this one. It's insane. Right, just hopefully loading up the image so we can zoom in a bit. Oh, hang on. Yeah, this nose kind of looks easily like it could just be plasticined on the top. There seems to be some sort of yellow seam just here at the top of the head as well. But yeah, and hairpiece, completely fake hairpiece as well, probably. Who knows? Tiny little mouth, of course. Oh, just got a cat wanting to leave the room. So yeah, I would say, again, what with the effects it's had on things like, isn't the what's going on in Russia and the Ukraine the reason why the prices are supposedly going up? Is there some link to it? Which is absolutely insane. I mean, when you look at the increase in energy prices, how surely Britain can produce their own electricity, you know? Why Russia and the Ukraine decide to have to start rebuilding, renovating their towns by supposedly having a war. Wow, that picture looks fake, as you could imagine. Look, does that guy look like a waxwork or a statue? In my book, I would say yes, he does. About as much as Meghan. She's never one of them. Greetings to Sunstar Thunder Lightning. Good to see you in live chat. Thanks for the Happy New Year to you too. And Shari Walder. Namest. Guidance 222 says E10 petrol. I might need a bit of context to that one. Oh, I mean, yeah, I don't know what E10 petrol is. I could have a look, unless you're just trying to plug some brand or something. Yeah, Sunstar, I'm doing well, thank you. Thanks for your concern. Yeah, I mentioned earlier on in the stream I had to change my streaming habits. Well, for one thing after another, really. First of all, yeah, I had an infection in my ear, meaning these Sunday live streams, they were just too long. I couldn't go on more than half an hour without being in quite a lot of discomfort. Well, yeah, and then we had a bereavement a week before Christmas, so things have been pretty up and down, but we're getting there. Sunstar, appreciate you asking. Thanks very much. AAA Morora says, what is behind all the silicon mask wearing and CGI? What are they hiding? I'm not sure. It's certainly there though. I mean, have you ever noticed how Putin walks? I don't know if we got any videos of him walking. He's got the classic leg swing. Or, well, where it looks like he's trying to modify their walk for whatever reason. Where they don't want you to see how they are really walking. Sunstar says, big things are taking place behind the scenes. I'm looking forward to the exposure. I hope it comes one day. Walking. Right, watch this guy walk. It is out there. Here we go. Oh, the cats are starting to wake up a bit now and liven up. Hopefully they won't interrupt us too much. Yeah, I've seen loads of pictures of the leader of the Ukraine that look like someone's literally got a well, where it looks like they just looks fake, looks CGI, it looks silicon. I mean, every picture I see now of Putin, he looks like a waxwork museum to me. It looks like a waxwork. Colonel his walk has been modified. Is that it? What a terrible video. I remember someone in quite a recent stream mentioned, oh, what's the guy's name? Alex Jones, the conspiracy theorist, and how he walked. And yeah, they were spot on. They have very strange walks, some of these people. Oh, Guidance says no petrol at the pumps. E10 introduced at the... okay, yeah, I gotcha. They certainly did change the pumps. If you are suggesting that as one of the biggest lies of 2022, we'll certainly take a look at it. Is it a big change to compared to regular fuel? Okay, it's something from the government, that's for sure. New vehicles manufactured from 2019 onwards should have a... It sounds like electric, doesn't it? E10. Use whether standard petrol is changing. Well, yeah, that's a massive one. Change in fuel. Yeah, and of course there were there meant to be petrol shortages, and it shot up in price. Amarora says Alex used to walk with a cane, and exposure will only truly happen when we end this puppet show. Perhaps it will come one day, but those in positions of power certainly will keep hold of their, they'll cling on to their lies with their dying breath. I mean, they've got very interesting ways of protecting them as well, and it's not always trying to stifle the truth. They don't need to do that. They don't need to try and censor people. I mean, yeah, censorship definitely goes on, but when they are ready to bring something out, yeah, it's very easy. It's very easy for them. Yeah, we've had a huge amount of strikes going on lately as well. Like the train lines are striking. The postal service are striking. Weren't ambulance drivers striking or something? That potentially one of the biggest lies of the year? Yeah, that's another suggestion. Strikes that we've been having. Guidance says it's killing old motors. Actually, I know where I grew up, I don't live there anymore, but in Bath, they brought in a congestion charge where if your vehicle was before, I'm not sure if it was 2013, maybe before 2009, you had to pay for congestion or some rubbish like that, because supposedly your petrol tank was creating too many fumes and it was going to ruin the planet or some rubbish like that. So yeah, actually you're right that the fuel crisis was definitely deserves to be mentioned. Thank you for that one. So E10 fuel shortages. Yeah, that was 2022, wasn't it? I know the prices went sky high for a while. Amarora says, have you looked at Anatoly Fomenko's research at the time? I haven't looked at Anatoly Fomenko, no. If it's someone you suggest, we'll have a look at the end. Right, let's see. Well, we'll have a look now, actually. Oh, by the way, it's obviously New Year. I've been seeing a lot of people saying, like, oh, January, of course, isn't really the original New Year. And in a way, that's kind of correct. It's more to do with the shortest day, I think. Or, well, I don't know. I've noticed a lot of people... Oh, by the way, Bullspit 19 isn't going away. When we're looking at lives in 2022, that would obviously have probably taken 2020 and 2021 titles, about the biggest load of crap they dished up that year. But it's not gone anywhere. So, I mean, that could even take 2022. So I'm going to put BS19 as a possible candidate. Apparently, a hospital, Northampton General. A reminder that we have now suspended visiting for all inpatient wards, and we are asking patients and any visitors to the hospital to wear a mask. This is due to the significant increase in bullspit and flu infections. So they're now shutting hospitals down for flu. Yeah, that by no stretch has gone away. Yeah, here's someone over on Twitter saying January the 1st isn't the new year. Should be April the 1st. And then someone else, I'm sure I liked or maybe I saw it on YouTube actually. It was an image of hang on, where is it? I think it was basically saying the 15th of April. Maybe it wasn't on Twitter then. I'm not sure. Right. We will see. Yeah, there is... I know the Bible uses a lunar calendar where, again, I think the new year is around... Well, what we now call Easter would have probably been the new lunar year or something. Right. And AJR Wild says it's not Putin, it's another imposter. Yeah, probably. These people have tons of doubles and lookalikes. Who knows? Right. Aramamora suggested... Oh, the timeline being extended. The year might be 1023 if they extended the timeline by 1,000 years. Yeah, who knows how far back half this stuff goes. Right. Anatoly Fomenko. I will give that a cursory glance. That name. Anna. Right. Hopefully won't take too long to load the page. We'll see. Okay. I could put a poll up, but maybe it wouldn't be... Okay, oh, they've got a Wikipedia page. A Soviet and Russian conspiracy theorist, mathematician, professor at Moscow State University and well-known topologist, and a member of the Russian Academy of Science. Okay. No, I'm not... This isn't a name I've come across, actually, so thank you for sharing it, Guidance. Oh, hang on. No, sorry. Amarora. Goodness me, that name's a mouthful. He's a conspiracy theorist. And he's an accomplished painter and illustrator whose work often depicts objects from mathematics, many related to topology. Huh. A new chronology. The new chronology is a pseudo-historic conspiracy theorist proposed by Fomenko, who argues that events of antiquity generally attributed to the ancient civilizations of Rome, Greece and Egypt actually occurred in the Middle Ages, more than 1,000 years later. Do you know, I remember I was in a shop, The Works, I don't know if you know it, they sell loads of books, kids' books, and, well, all sorts of things you can get in there, puzzle books, and one of the books was like a visual, Britain through the years, through the ages, and it starts with like the Stone Age and really basic houses and what a city would look like, basic, really kind of bare bones, right up until the Roman Empire came, and then everything suddenly revolutionized, and then it went back to like being Stone Age, well, more or less Stone Age again. It doesn't look realistic to me. No, history is, how much of history can you actually follow, hey, and believe what took place? They do say history is written by the winners, of course. And let's say, for example, let's say the history will tell us that, take Buffalo, okay, that was the first thing we mentioned. Buffalo shooting. That this story is just as Wikipedia tell you. There is no place for anyone questioning it, or ever, no matter how well people break it down and expose it as being one thing or another. History will always tell you the 2022 Buffalo is as exactly as Wikipedia tell you it is. There is no room for error. On his murder, terrorism, hate crimes. No matter how much you may be able to convince people that take Dame Deborah James, no matter how much you try and convince people that this person talking about marking 6 months since her daughter passed is a complete load of crap. It isn't, because the BBC News... Oh, actually, that's a different Dame Deborah James. There were two of them. Yeah, so history is indeed written by the winners. No matter how convincing the arguments are that they never went to the moon, that never happened, history will always say Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin were the first two people to ever walk on the moon. Don't need to prove it, it's just generally accepted. No matter how much people point out what a complete lie, say, evolution is at the moment, if that's the popular opinion of the current time, it will always be whatever the scum newspaper tell you is generally how it will be remembered. Not just the scum, but all this stuff is, it's hard to pick out one thing. Yeah, I reckon most of these images of this person were just photoshopped. I mean, have a look at that face patched together. I mean, at times someone may have dressed up to look like this person, but this here, see that woman there? I don't know how well you can see the image, and that is meant to be the same person. No, I don't think so. Doesn't cut it in my book. But what the press tell you is as it is. I mean, we got images of Prince William stood next to these people. Not like they would ever fake that, is it? Or that he would go along with a lie. Okay. Amarora says there have been many New Year dates. There was not just one. It was once in September believed to be when the world began. Okay, interesting. And Anatoly is actually from the Ukraine. Okay, brilliant. Did I get that wrong or did they get that wrong? I'm not 100% sure. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna let you decide yourself what was the biggest hoax of 2022, the biggest lie. The Queen's death is definitely, I mean, that was massive. It would be difficult, you know, to... Yeah, 'cause do we really believe that she died just as they told us? That she was in this box here, that all these hundreds, thousands of people, whatever, David Beckham supposedly queued up for 13 hours to walk round this purple box. Yeah, I'm sure the Queen's really in there. What a load of crud. So that's definitely got one. Things like the Ukraine continue to go on. Again, and that has such massive consequences as well. And knock-ons that, again, that would be difficult. I mean, the Queen's death, for example, here in the United Kingdom was obviously treated like it was a big deal. But just over here, I mean, other countries, I expect it got covered, but I doubt it got quite as much coverage. I don't know, maybe it did. The World Cup. World Cup 22. Will we see any suspect images under the image search? Although I misspelled it. Like people sticking up various symbols or who knows what. By the way, I did that symbol there, like the infinity symbol, the 8, does seem to come up everywhere at the moment. Or I did see that frequently. Isn't it meant to be a serpent swallowing its own tail? Is that what that's meant to just represent? Look at her wearing her mask, keep getting all the lies in. As I said, I didn't watch the World Cup, but I can imagine, I'm guessing they didn't all kneel down before every match, did they? I would have thought they would have done away with that by now, but who knows? Yeah. If the Premier League football matches are rigged, then every year you've got these tournaments that are taking place. So, wow, it's difficult to just pick one. Amarora says drag Queen Elizabeth. Yep. And in the box was most likely empty. It was draped in purple, masonry colours. Yeah, very good point. Oh, AJR Wild says Putin was killed in 2010 and replaced with an actor. Oh, Susan Byrne, greetings. It's good to see you in the live chat. Thanks for joining in. Yeah, always good to see you, Susan. Let's see, where are we? And Guidance 2222 says people were saying because of the lockdown they had to use stored fuel. Petrol was running out as everyone drained the pumps. E10 came in about the same time. Okay. Yep. Yeah, the fuel shortages. Yeah, you're right. That was all definitely staged. That, you know, could be one. All the rail, like we've had rail strikes, we've had postal strikes, ambulance strike. Is that the latest one? Now, okay, maybe you can't say that's a lie because they really are striking, but oh, look at those 22s on that shirt. Mexico World Cup, Spain World Cup, and they both use the 22. Right. Let's see. Are they still striking? I'm not sure. I know they've been an absolute joke lately. I was told that only how many ambulance workers are striking, which areas affected. We've also had yeah, so many different people going on strikes. And yeah, while they may actually be happening, rail workers, that was another one. There's so much. Patients lie in A&E all Christmas to get a bed. Wow, what a miserable time to be in hospital. Yeah, Archie Battersby, as I mentioned, that was probably the one I made the biggest deal over. That and Deborah James. But if I was to say, see, I think maybe the World Cup would be the furthest reaching. The Ukraine, again, everything that goes on with that. Yeah, Queen's Death, World Cup football, and the Ukraine, I would say, were my 3 nominations. Obviously, anyone watching after this, after I've streamed live, you're more than welcome to leave a suggestion for what you think was the biggest live 2022. I am going to start winding down now, as it is 11:30, unless anyone else has got any suggestions before we finish. I am going to thank Sunstar Thunder Lightning, AAA Marora, Guidance 2222, AJR Wild, Sherry Walder, did I miss Susan? Hang on, who commented not long ago? Susan Byrne. If I missed your name, I apologise. Chunky Buster, Phil Wright, and everyone else who took the time to tune in to my first Sunday evening live stream for a while. I'm not sure how I'm going to go forward. Well, I am. Maybe I'm going to do a few Bobby Z shows in the week and continue to do a Sunday night live stream where I can. Yeah, I have got some new equipment now, meaning I might be able to do these videos. They might just work out a little better. It'll be quicker to set up for me, so I might be able to do a few more. I do invite anyone that wants to show their appreciation for my videos. If you want to hit the thumbs up button, please do. Subscribe if you're not already, and share on social media. There are a few simple ways you can support this channel. Another alternative is checking me out over on patreon.com/bzines. I do put some posts up over there which are exclusive for Patreons. Although any video I put out will always generally make it to YouTube. I don't believe in making videos and then just only letting a few people watch them. But if you do want to support me over there, that would be appreciated. And thanks to Linda Mack, who does just that. Okay, we're going to, I think, wind down now for the night. Right, I don't have a video to play out on, do I? What's this one here? Hang on. I do have a video I could put on. NHS Pushing Climate Lies from October 2022. Yeah, maybe we'll watch that one. How long does it go on for? I can't imagine it's that long. It is a 5-minute 18-second video. Yeah, so when that runs down, we will be finished. Until then, yeah, thanks to everyone who has tuned in. I will certainly be back in the week with a Bobby Z show. Well, as I said, I do have I have a funeral coming up soon, and I may be a little preoccupied over the next sort of couple of weeks, but I will certainly be back with videos as and when I can. Right, I'm going to put some audio on now. Hopefully it won't drown me out too much. Just to play us into the start of the video we're going to play out on, which was about the NHS pushing climate change lies. Right, where are we? Okay, I'm going to say goodnight. Thanks everyone for tuning in. And here is the video. Oh, hang on. Alright, bye. Okay, thanks for tuning in. Catch you soon. Cheerio.
Greetings. Now, I'd like to bring this information to your attention. Someone I know received a text from the local doctor's surgery informing them that they're going to be changing their Ventolin inhaler at some point. Now, I didn't see the actual